Good evening, gentle listener, and welcome to Distractible, a Wood Elf production with your hosts, Worldly Wade, Bananas Bob, and Maladjusted Mark. This week, the randy roistering rangers round the rugged rocks of the Ribald. Yes, it's time for Fears and Fetishes. Please agree thy safe word, and enjoy the show.
Hey guys, welcome back to Distractible. I'm Wade, joined by Mark and Bob, and we are here with our show where we talk about whatever we want. I assign points, or whoever's hosting assigns points, and then somebody wins, two people win, nobody wins. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Ooh, we've never done that. Can nobody win? Is that an option?
I mean, I feel like that's a little cheating.
That's the end of the podcast.
Yeah, just
nobody wins. There's no host for next week. It's over.
Oh.
Spoiler alert.
Is that today?
It could be.
That's how it ends.
I guess it's up to the host when it ends.
Yeah, I guess it's like whenever there is no winner, that's when the show ends.
At any moment, the host could just be like, you guys suck. That's it. It's over.
That really puts some stakes to the show. You know, maybe we should elevate it like that. If there's ever an episode where no one gets any points, then I guess it has to end, right?
Oof.
Or a tie. Tie at nothing.
Tie's not the same.
A tie is like kissing your own butthole. Nobody wants that.
You guys tied once.
No, you're skating over this concept. How do you kiss your own butthole?
Can't happen. That's why we can't have any ties.
All right, fair enough.
There is somebody out there that's flexible enough to kiss their own butthole, right?
Oh, absolutely. And you know they have.
Mhm.
Like, I know exactly the extent to which I'm not able to kiss my own butthole because, you know what? I've tried, just like everyone else.
Is that where the phrase
have not.
tongue-in-cheek comes from?
Yes.
Shut up. Shut up.
That's 100%. You know what, Wade?
Shut up.
Points for that.
Thank
Points
you.
for you.
Thank you.
You can't give the judge points.
I will allow him to give me points.
Don't tell me what I can do.
I'm going to tell you exactly what you can do, and you can't do that.
Well, I already did it.
I will
so-
allow you both to give the judge points this week.
All right, fair enough.
Does that mean we can also take points away
Nope,
from the
just
judge?
give.
Just
I can
curious.
only be
Okay,
giving
well,
points.
I give you -5 points.
Honestly, that's kind of cheatsy, but I allowed it. So,
Not against the rules.
technically true. All right. Well,
Anyway,
since we're all here and since spooky season has been upon us, kind of a combo there.
Say it again, the way you said it.
Since we're all here, since spooky season is been upon
No,
us.
just spooky season. God, what is wrong with you?
No, spooky season.
You said spooky season in a fun way.
Spooky season. Spooky season. Spooky.
Say it differently. God, forget I said. We'll cut this out.
don't cut anything out ever, Will. It's unedited now. Your job is just to post this as we send it to you. That's the rules.
I'm starting to think maybe there's no editing at all, and we just are throwing up like vomit onto the platforms that people listen.
You know, you would know if that was true if you listened to them before they go up, Wade.
That's true.
Yeah.
We are afforded that opportunity.
Look over there. I hate the sound of my own voice. I don't want to. I don't like listening to myself. If I wasn't in the podcast, I would love it.
Wow.
It's not for you. It's for the people to make sure that the edit's good.
Look, they are smarter people than me that listen.
I am so much more mad at you right now than it would seem, but I'm going to save it till the end. Oh, beloved judge.
I will keep note of that when I assign points. Thank you. Well, get a little warm in here, so let's talk about spooky stuff. Because, I don't know, I don't like it when Halloween's over, because that means we have to wait a whole nother year for Halloween. There's some other good holidays, I suppose, but it's one of the best ones. So today we're going to talk about
Fears.
logical fears, irrational fears, silly fears, serious fears, whatever you guys kind of want to focus on. I don't have anything specific to ask about it, but I just figured that's a good topic because it's something that, you know, a lot of us think of the common things, like, you know, there's some very common fears, spiders and such, and we can talk about those. But sometimes there's just weird things people are afraid of. And I have a couple of those that come to mind. So now that I've blabbed and given you guys plenty of time to prepare for the topic, talk to me about either some of your fears or fears of people around you, what stories you've heard, whatever. You know how this show goes.
I just want to be clear. You did talk for a long time, but you said the topic at the very end of your very extended talk. So
Yeah, you're welcome.
like 95% of that was not like, ooh, I'm thinking about this new topic Wade has presented. Just to clarify what you said.
I know, but I was trying to make myself look better than I was to you.
Uh-huh.
I was trying to misrepresent myself to look good to the audience.
Minus 1 point to Wade.
Wait, you can't take points away. You can only add negative points.
I give you negative 1 point.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
That's the rules.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a light-hearted one that I feel weird about that I guess I could start this with. I don't know if you've got ones ready, locked and loaded, Mark.
No, honestly, because like you, I just heard about this topic 2 seconds ago.
Okay, it's not been 2 seconds anymore. Now it's been at least a minute.
Yeah, but I was too busy laughing at you.
All right, listen. I've got this, and it's like an everyday thing. Like constantly, like when we finish recording this podcast, I'm probably going to deal with this. And I don't know, maybe it's not a fear, we can debate that, but I have this thing, right? Basically, every time I go to stand up or walk, I have a fear that I'm gonna like hurt my ankles or my feet. And it's not like ooh, I hope I don't hurt my ankle. It's like a physical cringe. If I see someone like roll their ankle, or like one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen, if you're a sports fan, the video, I believe, of Joe Theismann. He's a quarterback, he's playing football, American football. He gets tackled. I found a picture of it. He's standing, trying to throw the ball, basically, and he gets tackled low in his leg, and it like snaps his leg, like destroys his leg. And when it just, I'm not watching the video right now. I just Googled to make sure that was the right dude. That exact injury is like a deep fear for me. It makes me feel like I'm going to throw up. It makes my eyes like water, like tear up. And every time if I'm on the escalator at a store and I'm approaching the end of it, my brain is like, make sure your pant leg is not too low so it doesn't get sucked in. It's going to rip your legs off. Every time I step down off a curb, I'm like, ooh, don't step down into a sewer grate. Your foot might go through it. You might break every bone in your ankle. It's like this weird thing. And like football sports injuries where ankles get like snapped. There's an MMA injury where two guys are like kicking each other and they kick and their shins meet. And the one dude's leg or like wraps around the other dude's leg because his shin just shatters. Ugh. I mean, that's gross, right? I feel like everyone would look at that and be like, ooh, that's a rough injury. Like, damn, that probably hurts. I think about that constantly. Every time I walk, every time I take a step up or down. Is that weird? Am I weird? Is that like a weird thing I hold on to? Because it makes me feel weird. But it's a real, like, constant thing for me that I'm afraid of. Anytime I'm, like, using my legs, this, in the back of my mind, I'm like, be careful. Don't destroy your legs. Watch out. Watch out. And anytime, if I like step on a rock or even if I slightly roll my ankle, my whole body is like, this is the end. This is how we die. Is that weird? Am I weird? Because I feel like that fear follows me constantly and I don't understand it.
I mean, given that I broke my foot by stepping off of a curb and barely rolling my ankle, no, I'm not saying that that's crazy because that can happen. Humans are surprisingly durable, but humans are also surprisingly fragile. They will break at a moment's notice.
Do you think there's like something that happened or something you witnessed when you were really young that caused you to like have that? Or do you think it's just happened one day you were like, huh?
He just talked about Joe Theismann and his thigh being broken in half.
Well, yeah, I know.
No, okay. So for as far as personal experience, I was a football player, right? I played football through high school for a couple of years in high school. My goal was to play in college. I was taking it pretty seriously. And I frequently had ankle injuries. But I don't know if it comes from that. Like, I'm just a big guy. Linemen get their ankles stepped on a lot. You roll your ankle. It just sort of happens. If you play college football, you basically have your ankles taped all the time, no matter what, because you probably have taken a lot of abuse and have had a lot of ankle sprains or injuries or whatever. But like, no traumatic events or anything involving feet. I don't know.
Well, I looked it up. Joe Theismann's injury happened in like 85, so I don't think any of us were alive to see that happen in real time.
No. It's just like an iconic thing. Like, you know, it's a video. If you're like a sports, especially if you're a football player, you've probably seen the Joe Theismann clip because it's horrific.
Yeah.
And apparently everyone likes watching that.
There was one I witnessed probably a decade or more ago. It was like, I think it was a college basketball game where like someone went to jump and when they landed, they didn't bend their knees. And they had, what's the fracture called where like the bone goes through the skin?
Fuck-splosion.
Fuck-splosion.
I believe they had a knee fuck-splosion.
A bone-nihilation.
There's a name for it. Yeah, but basically this dude jumped up to like block a pass or something and he landed, didn't bend his leg and and like his leg buckled, but like in real time, because I mean they didn't cut it soon enough. You could actually see that happen and him go down.
I'm gonna throw up.
Sorry. As a basketball player at the time, that was awful to witness too, because it's like, oh my god, the way I jump around, like that could happen to me at any given time.
I guess my biggest question about this, this is a thing I deal with. I don't know. It's not going away as far as I can tell. Is that a fear, or is that like a weird, like just a thing for me? It's not a fear.
No.
I don't know. What is a fear?
I don't know. What is a fear? What is a fear? Hang on. What is fear? What is fear? That's a good question.
I just asked, what is a Ferrari? And the internet was like, Ferrari?
What is the fear of Ferraris? Ferrarophobia? It must be, right?
Ferrarophobia, probably.
Ferrarophobia. Okay, fear. Definition. This is the start of like a 7th grade essay. Fear. The dictionary defines fear as an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or threat. So weirdly, it's specific to danger, right?
That would be dangerous, yeah.
Threats. I think it's fine to call that a fear because it's even if it's rational and understandable, it still qualifies as a fear. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it comes from my feeling that I'm going to get injured. It's irrational, I guess, maybe in that I think I'm going to get injured in every situation when if I'm just walking normally, I'm probably relatively safe, I guess. But okay, so that is a fear. That's kind of a fear.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fear.
Yeah, I'd say it qualifies.
I feel validated.
You know what I just thought? Is there a pill that makes you feel incredible fear? Because I feel like there's a market for that.
I feel like that's something Scarecrow would employ in like the Batman universe.
I know, right? They always have the fear potion or the fear tonic, but is there actually a chemical that makes you feel afraid? Like what chemical in the brain, what chemical makes you feel fear?
On the flip side, wouldn't there be like a counter maybe like for, I don't know, soldiers or police or something that makes you feel incredibly brave?
I mean, probably lots of cocaine.
Oh my, imagine a fear suppression. That would be so dangerous to have like a fear suppression probably, because I think that fear is what makes good decisions a lot of the time.
I mean, no, honestly, no. Fears make you make, I think, worse decisions way more than good decisions.
Yeah, I think it depends. I think if you get into a position where you're basically entering the fight or flight part of fear and you're making a frantic decision, that's not great. But fear is rationalized when you're making like calmer decisions before something is happening, or if you're totally have control of yourself. I think that's good.
Out in the woods, grizzly bear comes to your campsite and you're like, it's a hold my beer moment. That's what fear suppression is. It's hold my beer.
It's a hold my beer life.
I know how to deal with a grizzly bear in the woods. You kidding me?
Okay.
How do you deal?
It's easy. It's easy. Shit your pants and play dead.
Oh.
All right.
What if you had just finished pooping?
Well, God help you. You better run fast. If you don't have one in the chamber, that grizzly bear is gonna get you.
That's why I always carry my camping bag of shit with me at all times.
Yeah, that's why real outdoorsmen shit in a bag and then tie it on their belt.
Yeah, I got a quick release pouch. It's like a parachute. I pull a cord and poop just.
A guy just got back from like a long like bushcraft trip. Gets into the city, parking his car, walking into his apartment. A mugger comes up and is like, "Hey, give me your wallet." And the guy, like Spider-Man, whips his hand behind his back, whips the bag out like whoosh, a web of shit, launches. The mugger loses his mind and then shoots him in the face because that only works on grizzly bears. The shit defense is more effective in nature. It doesn't work in the urban environment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Humans don't like that, but it doesn't scare them away.
I feel like if I was in a situation where I wanted to mug someone and they pull the cord and poop went everywhere, I feel like I would be dissuaded from robbing that guy.
Yeah, imagine they have like shit all over their hand. They go to grab their wallet and like they go to hand you a shit covered wallet. Like I wouldn't want it.
Yeah, it's too much.
Well, but if you're mugging them, you've got the weapon, you've got a whatever. I would be like, lick your hand clean, then pass it to me. This is what you get for trying the shit defense on a human that has intelligence.
Yeah, exactly. Intelligence is what we're dealing with here.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I would never mug anyone, so no one has to worry about me telling them to lick their hand clean.
Of course,
thank God.
But if I was in that position, you've got the element of surprise, you've got a weapon or something, you know, you're trained in karate, whatever, I don't know.
You mix up your like poop bag with your party confetti and you go to someone's birthday and you're like, ka-ching, surprise!
No. Then you feel really bad, so then you throw confetti too and it kind of sticks to the moist poop. You basically just tarred and feather someone on their birthday.
I just got a bunch of cords on my body that I could pull at any time. One's poop, one's confetti, one's food, one's drink, one's a fire extinguisher.
Like a terrible, shitty superhero. It's me, Cord Man. I should have labeled some of these cords. I'm just going to keep pulling until the situation is resolved. Cordman sucks.
Man, Cordman sucks.
What are we talking about?
Fear.
Fear, right. Fear.
Oh, fear, right. Yeah, my fear of the leg injury thing. That's real. I'm normal. Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't have too many like standout fears except for the ocean. I freaking hate the ocean. Like me and Ethan, we went swimming in the ocean. It was this bone-gripping terror of being in the water. I cannot explain to you how real that fear was. Of even the idea of being in the water was terrifying, but once I actually jumped in, all I could think of was get out. I might have pushed Ethan into the water to get out. I'm not ashamed to say.
I watched that video and I had 2 comments.
Yeah.
One, the expression on your face prior to getting into the water.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you were going to kill Ethan. Like, I was watching it and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. This isn't like a bit. Mark looks possessed. Mark looks violent. Like, this doesn't look like Mark.
It's like it was pure attack mode. Like that was it. It was fight or flight, and I choose fight until I got in the water, and then it was flight. And it just like the amount of adrenaline, like my heart rate just skyrocketed with the idea of being in the water. I couldn't handle it.
I want to explore this. I don't want to like make you super uncomfortable, but I know you're pretty into the idea of exploring what makes you uncomfortable.
Of course.
What, if you can explain it?
Okay.
What is it about it that the ocean makes you so uncomfortable?
It's
the deepness, the mystery, the creatures.
It's the fact that if you're in the ocean, you have a mile below you of you don't know what's there. It's the unknown, right? If I was in the water and I saw a shark there, I would be just as scared as I was when there was nothing there, because my mind was making up more to fear than like a tangible thing. If there was a shark, I would probably be like, holy shit, I'd shit my pants. But also just like the idea that there could be anything below me or nothing at all. That's equally scary. Something about the ocean as a whole, like a giant body of water. Maybe it's something in my genetic history. Like if you open me up like Assassin's Creed, you'd find just like every single one of my uncles has drowned or something like that. And it's just really pervasive.
Well, thing number one, the shitting your pants. I'd be curious to know if that worked on sharks as well as it works on grizzly bears.
Special pull cords for underwater.
So it's not the ocean in general, and it's not like salt water. What if you were in a coral reef? You could see the bottom. It's 15 feet below you. Is that different?
I have swum. I swam in Hawaii, and I swam with the snorkel, and I did the coral. And because I could see the bottom, and because I could see all around me, the water was crystal clear, I was fine. It is just the unknown. Like I think that's predominantly what makes it so terrifying to me.
Do you think if you were in space and you were like outside the spaceship, like just holding on by like a cord or something, would that be a similar sensation?
I think it would be a different terror because I could see everything around me, but I think I would be terrified if I was just without a cord. Like, where's my grappling cord?
If you were just floating, yeah, but I mean, if you were just outside and there was just like one little thing holding.
You were doing what's this called? Spacewalk?
Yeah, that type of thing.
Yeah, spacewalk.
Yeah, that's interesting. Have you ever found, because the ocean's pretty unique on our planet, I feel like the ocean is a large, unique thing, right? It represents a lot. I feel like a lot of people see the ocean as representing mystery and grand, there's giant creatures we couldn't even imagine way, way deep down in the depths of the ocean. Maybe, theoretically, we have evidence that something, like a giant squid exists, right? There's some kind of video of that or something, but is there anything that matches that? Space was a good example. Is there anything else, like, I don't know, if you're hypnotized, or I don't know, have you experienced anything that even comes close to that? Because it does sound like it's not fear of the water or of drowning in any specific way. It sounds like it's the fear of just how unknown it is, right? Could be anything.
I think that it boils down to all fears are like this, right? So all fears, like the definition of fear is like whatever, danger, threat, pain, all that stuff. The thing about not knowing something can drive someone like insane, and it does, and like that fear alone, your brain comes up with more terrifying things than ever could actually exist. You know what I mean? Because like my brain is just constantly on like paranoid look for threat mode, and it's like, oh, there could be like a giant squid about to pull me down, or there could be like a shark, but also it's just like there could be fucking anything. And that's why, like, walking alone in the woods at night, that's scary. There could be things in the woods. But in the daytime, usually walking alone in the woods is fine because you can see everything around you. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like that unknown is so primal and so keyed in. I wonder if animals feel the same way.
I certainly feel that to some extent. It makes me feel unsafe, I would say, like the alone in the woods, or I've never been swimming in like the deep open ocean. I've only swam in like, in the shallows among a coral reef or like by the beach or whatever. But I would say for me, the thing about fear is it's what my mind invents, which is why I don't enjoy scary movies. I've never done a haunted house. I can't handle scary shit. Because even if it's dumb, so take, for example, Mandy and I really enjoy Paranormal Activity. And I would argue the first Paranormal Activity movie actually was really interesting and like really scary. And they were trying something. And I feel like that, I don't know how other people feel, but that one I feel like is a pretty good spooky movie. The rest of the Paranormal Activity series, I would argue, is kind of garbagey. Like, it gets trashy. They're trying to like recapture kind of the magic that they had in the first one, and they really just don't. They're trashy, right? But I've watched, I think, all or most of the rest of the Paranormal Activity movies, and no matter the fact that I know that they're trashy, like cheap jump scares, like cheap horror movie tactics, they scare the shit out of me equally to like The Shining. The Shining scares the absolute shit out of me and gives me trouble sleeping for like weeks. But so does every shitty, trashy Paranormal Activity 4, type movie. It's because of what my mind does. Everything becomes real to me. It's not a fear of like what I don't know. It's a fear of like what I can imagine, which I guess maybe is that different. Does that seem different to you, or am I just framing it differently?
No, that's exactly the same thing, right? I think with movies, what captivated perfectly is like, it's not so much about the jump scare. It's about putting people in an environment where they feel uncomfortable, where they feel like they could be in danger, and that you basically kick up an engine that will automatically pump out the adrenaline, will automatically make people feel like they don't know what's going on or make them feel like they're going to die at any moment. So I feel like it's the same thing in horror movies that do it well. Like The Shining is great because it's not exactly a jump scare movie, and that's fine. It's a movie that's supposed to put you at like not at ease, at ill ease.
Oh, deep discomfort.
Yeah. And so it's great for that because it makes people afraid for themselves. They don't know. The main villain isn't apparent. Even if it's Jack Torrance himself, is representative of the main danger to the other two, he's not the big evil of it. It's like the hotel itself. There's a greater darkness, and it's that unknown that makes it fascinating to me. Anyway.
Have you guys seen The Haunting of Hill House? It's not a movie, but it was a series. I think Netflix series.
No, I heard it was great though.
It really was. They made another season, The Haunting of Bly Manor, which is pretty good too. But Hill House is probably one of the best scary things I've ever watched. That and the remake, I really enjoyed the remake of It. I thought that was really good. The Haunting of Hill House is a similar thing where it's like there's all kinds of stuff going on, but there's some kind of greater evil afoot you don't fully understand even while you're watching the whole show. And I think the unknown and the darkness, the void into the ocean, or the emptiness of space, I think all of those do play on our fears because our imaginations run wild. Imagine being like an animal, like a deer or something, that's just always got to be afraid of predators, or like a raccoon or something. Because like we have moments where we're afraid, but like there's creatures that always have to be on edge. I mean, that their existence depends on them being like ever vigilant.
Yeah,
that would suck. Anywho, those are pretty good. They make sense. The leg one surprised me, Bob. I wouldn't say it's like unusual to be afraid of that or anything, but it's just not one I would have thought of. Weird one. My aunt, if you're listening right now, don't listen anymore, because she has this fear. Even the word scares her.
I thought that was to everyone. I thought that was just like a general thing to all the listeners.
No, it's
just really wake people up.
Everyone get out of here.
Everyone leave. No one listen.
This is private.
Just mute it for the next 60 seconds and then unmute it. Put a timer on.
Whenever I wave my arms, you can come back. Just keep an eye out. My aunt has this fear, and she's had it for her entire life. We've been able to talk about it a couple of times, and she has no explanation for why. But it's so severe that even seeing or reading the word scares her. Her fear is of turtles. The word turtle, the letters that spell out turtle, seeing one. I have this memory of being a kid and her going to look at like a property, like a piece of land with my dad. I don't remember the context or anything, but I remember they were like walking around, scouting out this land, this property, trying to figure out if that was something they wanted to invest in or something. And as a kid, I was just running around looking at, bugs and whatever. And I found a box turtle and I picked it up and I was so excited. I was like, guys, look what I found. And she screamed, ran, and like, I think she was wearing like nice shoes, like heels or something. I remember her running full sprint to the car and we had to leave immediately. And she would not even consider the property again after that being there.
Oh, damn.
Weird.
As kids, we were told, like, whenever she was visiting, like, do not talk about turtles, because we used to collect them, and we'd like, my grandparents had this cabin that, like, there's this old bait shop that was part of their property, and there was, like, in the back, these old, like, little stone minnow container things, and we would occasionally, like, catch a turtle or a frog or something. We'd put it in there for like a day, we'd feed it, whatever, and then we'd let it go. But we were not allowed to have any of them when she visited, and we weren't allowed to talk about anything that we'd caught when she visited that might lead us to talking about turtles. Like, we had to have stern talking to about, like, make sure you don't say it because of her, like, intense fear. And she has no idea why, but everything about turtles just scares the crap out of her. And she ironically, coincidentally, moved into a neighborhood at one point in her life where she had street names all around her that had turtle in the name.
Oh,
and she had to
God.
find a very specific way out of her neighborhood to dodge those streets.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
But it's such a weird, irrational fear, and we have no idea what caused it.
I just imagine her like on her way back from a business trip or something. We're visiting you guys. She's in an Uber on the way home from the airport. He's just following the directions. He's like, all right, this is your neighborhood. We turn in here. And she's like, no, the next one. He's like, oh, it says it's down here, right? Don't go on that street.
I mean, probably.
Like a weird interaction with this Uber driver who doesn't fucking understand that this lady can't hear the word turtles.
And she can't even really talk about it to, like, explain it.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is she's got some repressed memory where some horrific thing happened to her involving turtles, right?
That's what we all imagine, but she has no recollection, and like her parents, like no one has any recollection of anything happening that involved it. No one has any idea.
I've always been curious about that. I've never, not that I want, wishing this on myself. I find it hard to understand the idea of a phobia or fear like that that's so intense that it dominates your life. Like I'm afraid, I'm pretty scaredy cat, and I have like the leg thing is constant, right? But I have that, and then I'm like, okay, but I have I have to keep walking. That doesn't prevent me from using my legs or from doing anything specifically. I feel like that's a whole different level of fear that I've never experienced. It must be terrible.
Yeah. No, it's like an instinctual fear.
I weirdly specifically am afraid, like whenever it's time to like go to bed and I have to turn off like the hall light, all the rest of the lights, whatever comes, usually the last one to go to bed. I'm always afraid that there's someone that's broken into the house. Like there's a person in the house. And I usually have to like scan and make sure there's no one around before I can like comfortably go to bed, because I feel like someone's in the house. I'm going to be like murdered in my sleep or something. And I don't know why I always worry about that. I even had a nightmare a couple weeks ago that I was doing my like search of the house. Like I heard a noise and I was searching to make sure like the house was clear, and there was a window open, and I was like, oh no, we never hardly ever open these windows. What in the world? I remember closing the window in my nightmare, and then I was walking down a hallway and one of our closet doors were open in a place that we don't even have closet doors, and there was just a person sitting in there.
Oh jeez.
And like they made eye contact with me, and then I woke up. So like, yeah, every time I like hear a noise lately, I'm like, there's a person in the house. I just keep thinking that.
Oh man, I have waking nightmares like that all the time. But also, the Yeti sighted in Cincinnati.
What?
There's an article. The Yeti, aka the abominable snowman, has been seen in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeti.
It's actually nothing. It's a new coin that someone stamped with the abominable snow.
Wow.
Boo! Minus 500 points for getting my hopes up.
That's fair. But I kind of I was touching on the idea of instinctual fears and stuff like that. And I was looking up some stuff and I found that. But I kind of was curious as to why there is this idea of a large ape-like creature, Bigfoot in the Americas and Canada. You got the abominable snowman in colder climates. But also in Australia, you got something called yowie, which I've never heard of before. But it is, much like the other ones, a large, hairy ape-like creature. And I'm wondering, like when it comes down to instinctual fears or stuff like that, do you think that there was like an offshoot? We talked about this before, haven't we? There's like an offshoot evolution of not a cousin, but like a side evolution of a bipedal creature that was somewhat intelligent, that lived maybe similarly timed to humanity, that we fucking murdered because we were terrified of them. And that doesn't justify us killing them, but maybe maybe they were also terrified of us and wanted to kill us also. But like, is it possible?
I mean, in, I don't know, evolutionary or anthropological history, I don't know what the right term would be, that happened in some time in the history of humanity's development. Sure. Are you implying that we have some kind of memory of that, like a special memory?
Well, maybe,
like
right? Because
that harkens back. That's why we always, humans universally craft this myth of like the Bigfoot, the Yeti, the whatever local, everyone has their own version of that.
I mean, maybe there are instinctual fears. There are. You go up high, you look down, your stomach sinks, right? That's just a thing that happens. You get afraid because you don't want to fall. And you can conquer that, or some people are affected by that more, but that is kind of universal. We don't like, eyes in the darkness or whatever it is, like, because it's like threats in the forest. There is instinctual based knowledge in humanity, and it's often like subconscious because it doesn't need to be part of the linguistic system, but there are instinctual fears that are baked into our genes. It's a survival mechanism, right? So how does that happen, number one? And how long of an exposure to a thing across a few generations does it need to exist for it to become baked in to our DNA? You know what I mean?
I feel like,
I don't know.
My take on the idea of Bigfoots and Yetis and things is not fear derived, and I'm certainly not an expert, but I've always sort of thought that it was a fascination with the idea that like humans don't know everything in creation, right?
Yeah.
And people maybe fear these creatures because some of them are sort of, maybe have like a violent myth or they're, they do certain things. But like, I feel like they exist because people are entranced by the idea of the supernatural, by the idea of the unexplainable. And humans feel drawn towards that in like a positive way. But maybe it's fear. I don't know. Because like you're saying, certainly there are instinctual fears that exist. I feel like those are usually more abstract because it comes from like this is life-threatening danger, some sort of instinct that triggers that, where it's like the eyes in the darkness or the footsteps behind you, or like animal instincts of like, that is a danger to me. But I feel like Bigfoot is much more of a mythical story.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I could see that. What you're saying, maybe. It's generational.
I find it interesting how we're all afraid of like, dying, getting hurt, whatever. Like none of us want to be in pain or anything for the most part. But like some fears stand out to us individually more than others, even though we can all be like, well, yeah, the fear of the unknown is scary. But one fear that jumps out to me that I'm sure nobody likes the idea of is like small spaces, like not necessarily claustrophobia, like being like in an elevator, but the thought of being like in a cave and having like a cave collapse or going down like a narrow passageway where I might get stuck. That terrifies me. I remember as a kid, my brother and I used to like throw a blanket on each other and like grab a pillow and like, tackle each other or whatever. But anytime I was under the blanket, like I thought I was going to die. If I was like under a blanket or something and someone was on top of me, I felt like I couldn't breathe, like I was suffocating.
What you need to do is you need to pull your pull cord that inflates your life raft, and it'll expand and create like more space for you. It'll push it out of the way. Or you pull the cord that's an explosive, but it's shielded on the inside, so it blows a hole opening in the cave you're stuck in, and then you can get out fine.
That would be nice if that worked like that. That'd be cool.
How many points do I get for that idea?
Oh, let's go 450. So that way you're only down 50 from the thing from earlier.
Okay.
What you really need to do if you find yourself in that scenario is just not be scared, you baby.
Yeah, you little bitch.
You just man up.
Yeah.
Plus 1,000 points to both of you for brutal honesty.
I don't feel that one. I do think it's interesting that everyone has their own versions of their own like sliding scale of which fears impact them the most. I don't like the idea of being in a cave collapse, but as much as I'm a huge dude and I frequently find myself in spaces where I'm like, I don't quite fit, or I'm like, I feel wedged in or whatever, that does not get to me at all. That's not like a fear that triggers me unless I was actually trapped in a collapsed cave. If I'm in a cave or whatever, I'm like, oh, this is cool, man. I hope I fit. I'll just keep scooching on through. Oh boy. But like, I don't know. I guess the joke I just made came from, in my head, I was thinking about like, why is it, I kind of know the answer to this, but why is it manly to pretend like you're not afraid and or to not be afraid, which I don't believe for 2 seconds. This is wandering pretty far away from the original topic, but what's the deal with that? Why are people so sensitive about you expressing like, ooh, this is scary, I'm afraid?
It's like, it's a competition thing. We're like, I'm better than you. I can face my fear, and if you're a coward and I'm smart and strong and I push my fear down, like that's all it is. It's like it's competition thing, right?
I think it comes from something probably though. Like imagine a long time ago needing to like rally people around like in your tribe. Like let's say you had like were under attack. And if you went and showed courage in the face of that, that can inspire those around you. So, you know, something's attacking you. And some animals do this too, where like, you know, they instead of running away, they have like a built-in thing where they'll puff out their chest or they'll expand to make themselves look even bigger. And that's like, that'll counter the thing that's like trying to attack them. I feel like there is some instinctual purpose to showing that braveness, that bravery,
Bravado.
And I don't know if we had it built in ourselves as humans or not, but there's definitely times where something like comes at you and the response is, no, you don't run away. If you run away, you're going to get killed. So you go and you roar back and beat your chest and put your arms out and make yourself as big as possible. Isn't there an animal that you're supposed to do that to? If an animal like I don't know if it was a bear, a mountain lion, something, like if it threatens you, you're supposed to like make a loud noise back and look big.
I think raccoons.
Yeah. Okay. I think that a lot of that is definitely like the competition thing now. But I imagine in the past that served a survival purpose of a false bravado that makes yourself seem bigger, scarier, more imposing to either inspire those around you and or just scare off whatever's attacking.
I think it's called the fight or flight reflex.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. Though you don't have to fight. You could just puff out your chest and roar, and then if it still comes at you, you're like, okay, now I'm a bitch baby, and run away.
So that's the flight part.
Yeah.
You tried the fight part.
Yeah.
I think science has pretty much nailed this one.
It's like a fake fight. It's not a real fight. It's like, oh, yeah, I'll fight you. No, I really won't.
Yeah.
As a big dude, I have always actually been afraid of people shorter than me.
Interesting.
It's not a fake thing. It's because I was one of those like gentle giant types growing up where I felt like people seemed intimidated by me because I was so much taller than everybody, like especially middle school, junior high. I was just very, very much taller than everyone else. But like I had this thing of like, if someone came up and wanted to beat me up and I had to defend myself, would anybody believe me? Because I was so much more physically imposing than like a lot of the people that would come after me. And so many dudes had Napoleon syndrome in our school. I don't know if you know that, but there were so many dudes that were like shorter and they were just workout warriors and buff as hell, and I didn't really do much working out or, you know, lifting weights or anything, and so I knew they could whoop my ass even though I was twice their height, and they were at perfect height to dick punch. There were just so many reasons to be afraid of like the little dudes.
I thought you were gonna say it's like because you couldn't see them coming, because like you'd never know where they were.
Well, sometimes, yeah. I mean,
You're looking out, you're surveying, and you just hear like, what the fuck is that?
it's like being a beaver being attacked by a colony of ants. You'll never see them coming, you know.
Wait, I'm gonna punch you in your shins!
Where's that tiny voice coming from?
Who said that?
What is this?
Oh god.
But yeah, growing up, I was like terrified that some like shorter dude would come to beat me up, and if I defended myself, no one would believe me because I was like bigger than that person, or they would actually succeed and just end up killing me.
I mean, killing you? Jesus Christ, what does this guy do to you?
God.
What the hell?
I don't know, man. I felt like I was easy to hate. They just wouldn't just be able to stop themselves once they started wailing on me.
Jesus.
Man, your self-esteem.
It was pretty low.
Fights and weights had end only in death or promising your life to the winner of the fight, apparently. And
Yeah,
Wade
yeah.
ain't promising his life to nobody.
No one. Yeah, I get that, man. I get that.
Now that we're all feeling nice and confident, going back to like the turtle sphere, do you guys know anyone, or do you have any, or whatever, heard of like weird, seemingly irrational fears?
Hey, weird is judgy. Calm down now.
Well, it is weird. I think a fear of like something like that.
I got a list. Okay, there's arachibutyrophobia, fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth.
Huh.
Okay, nomophobia, fear of being without your mobile phone. That's a new one. Okay. Plutophobia, which is the fear of money. I don't get that.
Dude, I found a phobia that every jock in middle school and high school has, apparently. Arithmophobia, fear of numbers.
Arithmophobia. Yeah. Ablutophobia, the fear of bathing. Octophobia. Optophobia. Optophobia is fear of opening one's eyes.
Oh, that is rough. That can't.
That, oh my God, how do you survive?
You blink like multiple times a minute. Like every time you blink, they stay close, and you're like, "Come on, I'm driving the car. Come on."
Yeah.
There's got to be some kind of like sensory thing in the brain where like you're afraid of what you might see or like the unknown of what might be. I imagine it's not from blinking, but like if your eyes are closed.
Oh my God. This is the meanest shit I've ever seen.
Okay.
Guess what the word is for fear of long words?
Oh, go for it.
It's a long one, isn't it?
Hippopotomonstrosesquipedaliophobia. That's like a 30-letter word. That's the longest word I've ever seen. So someone who has this phobia, every time they're like, hey doctor, new therapist, hey, yeah, I have a phobia. I'm here to work on. And the doctor's like, oh yeah, what's your phobia? I'm here to help. Like, it's I can't say it. I can't say it because the doctor who named it is an asshole.
I mean, no, who is actually afraid of long words? That cannot actually be true. You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like a lot of, I think Mark, you and I are reading the same list. I feel like a lot of these have to come from very specific instances, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I don't know who looks at a long word and like is afraid of that. Like,
Well,
that's what debilitates
I
you?
would have felt that way about turtles if I didn't have a personal experience with someone.
it's got to be tied to something, right?
Maybe
Someone is afraid.
yeah.
Someone's afraid of long words because as a child they had a stutter, and it was like something that like defined their, or they had an experience with a person who would use long words to, I don't know, to verbally abuse them. They would only abuse them with long. I have no idea,
It's
but
long word man. It's this most verbose villain in the world. I pontificated and extrapolated my plan. I fucking love that guy.
fucking love that guy. God damn it.
World's best villain.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of, I mean, you could be afraid of anything. I feel like some fears, like we talked about, are instinctive. They come from, self-preservation, these instincts that we have as animals. But you can develop a fear of almost anything, given the right circumstances. If you just read, like, okay, chatophobia is the fear of hair. Like, well, almost everyone has hair, and you see hair.
I know somebody who has that a phobia like that, and it's not necessarily hair just in general,
scalp?
but it's loose hair.
Oh, okay.
Like individual, like hairs that are no longer attached to somebody.
Well, when you say it like that, that sounds creepy.
Freaks them out to no end.
I mean, okay, so I go in my shower and I see a big clump of hair there. I'm not exactly in love with it.
No,
I don't know if I'm afraid of it. If it started moving, holy shit, then maybe I would have fear of hair from then on in my life. But at that moment, no.
But anyway, my point is, I'm sure there are people who have random, like the turtle thing. Maybe some people are just randomly, arbitrarily afraid of something deeply and unexplainably. But I feel like a lot of fears and phobias come from, if you talk to a person, or if they talk to a therapist in a safe place about this, there's probably a story, right? There's probably something that happened. It comes from a specific experience or person in their life or whatever. Who knows? Trauma. I don't know. But like, they sound silly on their own. But the thing is the fear. The thing is not what you're afraid of. The thing is the fear. Fear is to some extent universal. I'm not going to judge anyone for having a fear that I don't understand just because maybe on the surface it seems weird to me or it doesn't make sense. Makes sense to them. Still, it's equally scary to them regardless of how judgy I am about it, I guess.
Fair is fair.
I've got a weird one. I don't know how weird it is, but this is one I have that I never really explored and I've never really admitted to anybody, but like has totally affected me many times in life. I have like this fear of failing performance, like physical activity like basketball or whatever, or acting, improv, in front of friends, in front of people that I know. So like back when I was playing basketball, I often played a lot better when I wasn't playing with anybody I knew. If there was no one I knew, I was a lot more aggressive, confident, whatever. Like doing the improv and stuff, I was always nervous as hell doing that, like around you guys.
Oh, we could tell.
Same with like the acting and stuff. Like just super uncomfortable. And whenever we had like the live audience, it was like I had something else to distract me. But like doing the warm-ups and stuff, I was so uncomfortable doing it. Same with like acting and things. Like whenever we've done various either skits or heist or whatever have you, if I'm like on my own or again, just streaming in front of like a bunch of, people that like I don't see every day, or at least if you guys are there, I don't always know where you're there, whatever have you, I can kind of pull that stuff off without worry. But for some reason, when there's like people I know there or watching or so have you, I feel like my performance tanks and I just like am panicked about not doing well. Oddly specific, but it's one that's like just always been there.
Yeah, I wonder why that would be. Like, just to your friends. Is it like because you trust them, and if you would hate to be disappointed? But it's kind of like the same as me. I don't care what any random stranger thinks of me. It works well for me being on YouTube because I literally don't care. Like, I can read any comment about this and it glosses right over me. But if someone I trust, like if you guys said something that was critical to my character, I would take it to heart and I would be so like, oh my God, oh no, they're right. I am, oh God. So, you know, I think it's similar. It's like you don't want to let down people you trust because it's all part of like the community thing. Like back in the survival days of humanity, like being ostracized from your community was a death sentence, pretty much. If you did, like, because humans lived as groups from very early on and like relied on each other. So if you were kicked out of the group, man, that ain't good for you. Whereas today, you know, society has a bunch of safety nets, and you know, if you're,
it's like, please kick me out.
well, I mean, maybe not quite like that, but
Kick me.
Oh yeah, not like
Right in the ass. Come on.
kick my ass.
Get me out.
Come on, kick me.
I guess is the opposite of a fear a fetish.
Yes, 100%. Yeah,
There's no
it's gotta
middle,
be, right?
There's no middle ground. You either fear something or you fetishize it.
I know, right? Yeah, that's how humans conquer their fear.
That's what the opposite was.
Yeah.
Don't kick me out. Kick me out. I want you to kick me.
Sharks. If I'm scared of sharks, someone loves sharks. Someone thinks sharks are sexy. That's illegal. Don't think sharks are sexy. Don't even think about it. It's illegal. But I hate the ocean. Someone wants to fuck the ocean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The unknown. I'd bang the unknown. I don't care what it is. If I don't know it, I want it.
I mean, 100%. There's gotta be people out there who are nodding their head right now, listening to this podcast, like, "Oh yeah, the unknown."
I will destroy the sun to get to the darkness. I want darkness all the time.
What about that fear of opening the eyes of someone who fucking loves open eyes? Just,
They take naps just so they can wake up an orgasm.
Constantly sleep deprived. They have insomnia because every time they lay down to go to bed, they close their eyes and their brain is just like, open them. Look at stuff. Come on. Perceive reality.
oh man, yeah. Jesus.
That would be nice. Maybe that'd be terrible. I think too strong of a fear or too strong of a fetish is both of those is probably rough.
Fetish
to live
of
with.
public speaking.
Like, because the thing is satiating it, right? If you have too strong of a fear, satiating what that fear inspires means you're avoiding things, you're not doing things, you're not going outside or whatever the fear is. Satiating a fetish is equally problematic if the fetish is, not socially acceptable in any way,
Yeah.
or public, or requires, other people to participate or something. Like, there's nothing wrong with satiating a fetish as long as it's safe and legal, but people are judgy, man. People are judgy bitches.
There are definitely people that have a fetish of public speaking because of attention, but I just imagine, you like Abraham Lincoln was like 77 years ago.
Some people are like afraid of the doctor. Like people fetishize. They're like, "Hey doc, do I need a booster shot today?"
Yeah.
I am here for my dental cleaning.
Yeah. No, I don't need anesthetic. I want to feel this.
What if you fetishize just like having a workaday life? You fetishize just being like the normal average person.
Yeah.
No, it's Friday. No, the weekend.
You go to your job Monday morning at a mid-level job where they don't pay you enough and you get overworked and you get into your shitty little cubicle and you sit down in your crooked chair and you're just like, oh God, I'm back. Let me start typing these reports that nobody reads. Fuck.
Oh, it's tax season. Oh, thank God. Hit me, Mr. IRS man.
Your fetish is getting audited by the IRS. You just commit tax fraud constantly. Like, come on, catch it. Check that shit. I clearly lied.
I mean, there's people that like, what's the condition called when you want to be doctored? Like you fake illnesses and stuff like that. It's not a sexual thing. It's just like
that's I know
Like
this
being a
word.
hypochondriac, like whenever you're faking.
Yeah, that's the one.
there's another thing for the Munchausen syndrome.
Oh,
I'm familiar with that one.
Yeah, is a mental disorder in which a person fakes illnesses. They lie about symptoms, make themselves appear sick. I mean, it's not so much much a hypochondriac who thinks they're sick all the time. It's someone who intentionally lies because they want to get, the care and like be in a hospital and like be worried about and stuff like that. It's not very common, but I know it's a thing.
I've seen it on TV. There's an episode of Grey's Anatomy where I'm pretty sure a lady takes a supplement of some sort to cause specific symptoms to get diagnosed with a very serious illness. It's very dramatic, and TV is always right. So
it was an episode of House the same way, except like the twist was the Munchausen patient also had like super lupus or something like that. Like was actually horrifically ill, and they had to face the realities of actually being sick.
Not as fun when you're really sick.
Why does House always get like the exploding pancreas patients? Just the super cancers.
House is such a good show.
I loved House. I love House.
I always remember House in like the Family Guy character of him though.
Yeah.
Where he just, I forget the context of the joke, but he just shows up on screen. He's like, get that rule book out of here. I don't follow anybody's rules, not even my own. And then he just leaves. That's House. It's entirely House.
Yeah, pretty much. Also the pills. Don't forget the pills. And the leg and the cane.
God, that guy loved drugs.
God, he loved drugs, man.
You know he's English?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hugh Laurie?
Yeah. Have you ever seen Hugh Laurie in Blackadder?
A Blackadder?
It's like old, like 90s English comedy show where he's like the servant to like the snotty prince.
Yeah.
It's so funny to think of House as that character on Blackadder, but he's
because he worked with Stephen Fry a lot.
Hugh Laurie's like an actual actor. Yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's great.
You know, like Shakespeare shit, like real acting. Also House.
Also House.
But before we go off on too much of a tangent about House, I guess I'll rein us back in. Good show, though.
Good show. Great show.
This is a fun episode. I enjoyed talking about fears and, I guess, fetishes there at the end.
That's the name of the episode. Fears and Fetishes. It's got to be it.
The fetishes are all crammed into the final 5 minutes.
Hey, they're in there.
Just like Wade's prompt at the beginning, you only have so much time to consider it, and it's right at the end, but we consider it there the whole time. That's what
Fears and fetishes.
Fears and Fetishes.
All right, tallying up the points. Mark, you lost a lot of points, so Bob wins.
Yeah.
All right.
Math. I love math.
That's how I did the math. The fear of math comes back to haunt Mark, not Bob today.
God, I shouldn't have badmouthed you, you sack of shit.
You should not have.
Didn't you say you were really mad at him at the beginning? What are you mad about, Mark? What are you so mad about?
No, I wasn't. Was I mad at him? Was I mad?
Yeah, you were like, I'm more mad at you right now that I'm letting on, but I'm going to save it.
Right, because you didn't listen to the episodes before they come out, and now I'm back to, I would have forgotten about it. Now I completely remember.
No, it's back. Yeah.
Well, you lost anyway, so let it out,
And now I can be mad about it.
Yeah, let it out. You want to give a loser speech about your anger at me?
Do listen, pal. Listen, buddy.
Sure.
The quality of this podcast entirely rides on your ability to listen to it beforehand and give notes. So give notes, and there you go.
I think we know what the quality will be if it depends on that.
Good?
That was a mistake in the design of the show.
It's not the design of the show, it's the design of anything. Any creative project.
Well, that's a mistake in the design of any project.
I love the idea that Wade finally starts listening to the episodes before they go live, and he just keeps sending a message to the editor. Wade's message this week is, needs more clown horns. That's it. That's Wade's one note.
Thanks. Thank you.
Now, this episode needs the sound of like a scurrying spider, a slithering snake, or a sloppy dildo for the fetish part, I guess. I don't know.
What does a sloppy dildo sound like?
Oh, don't act like you don't know what that sounds like.
I don't know what a sloppy dildo sounds like.
Those words left his lips, and my brain was like, ew, I know that sound.
We all know that sound. We live that sound.
How do you know that sound? What is that sound?
It's literally a dildo dipped in sloppy Joe mix and then flopped around on a glass surface so that the slops and slips are very audible.
All right.
It's mic'd close.
It's mic'd
ASMR mic.
Way too close.
It's really hot.
It's hot.
You get every little slurp and slip and glurp and everything.
I love those.
There is an alternative sloppy dildo sound where you still dip it in the sloppy Joe, but then you grab a stringed instrument and you treat it like a guitar pick and you flop it around the stringed instrument to play music.
That poor instrument.
Oh, man.
Or that lucky instrument, depending if it's a fear or a fetish. Bob, you're our winner today. Congrats. You get to host next week.
Yeah, I earned it.
Thank you, Mark and Bob, for joining. I'm Wade. You can find my friends at, facebook.com/MyScrim, youtube.com/MarkiplierGame, twitch.tv Minion777, or YouTube Lord Minion777. Find our podcast on all of the different downloadable podcast sites, probably. Stay tuned for whatever comes next on Distractible, and I guess we'll see if whatever Bob wants to talk about next week. Until then, podcasts out.